So I think we have good growth, we have good plans, and that is what we should be going into the election for, to mobilize people, to support these plans, and support the team which has brought this growth to them. Of course, we know that there are issues which come with growth. There are side effects, there are problems, and we have to deal with these problems. High growth means more foreign workers and more immigrants. We have to manage this problem. It's a real problem, and we will deal with it. For example, in Little India, where you have many foreign workers congregating on weekends, well, we've introduced patrols, we've encouraged the foreign workers to improve their behavior. I think the situation has improved. At least the MPs tell me so. We will strive to integrate the new arrivals into our society. For example, encouraging them to learn English so that they will be able to blend in and fit in better. We've made it quite clear that Singaporeans come first, and we will treat Singaporeans first. But that at the same time, we cannot do without foreigners, and we need to top ourselves up to fit them in, to fill the gaps. Supposing tomorrow all the foreign workers, we woke up and all the foreign workers had gone home to celebrate New Year. Who is going to build your HDB flats and trains? Who is going to clean your rubbish in the housing estates? Who's going to keep the factories and the hotels running 24/7? How are we going to reinforce our local talent to compete for investments and jobs against bigger and stronger global players? So when people say, we are very unhappy, I think we should understand, think carefully. Let's deal with the problems, but let's think carefully. What do you want to do? Are you sure just working people up will solve this problem? And will you be happier the next morning after you wake up and get what you want? Another side effect from growth is higher housing prices. We are watchful of the housing prices, particularly of the housing bubble. We worry about that because of global conditions. So Hong Kong is very worried about that. Other countries too are concerned that they don't have a bubble which will burst and leave you with a very unpleasant hangover. But a gradual rise in our property prices over the years is a result of our success. And I think it's a good thing, because as Singapore has prospered and grown, Singapore properties become more valuable in proportion. And so Singaporeans who own the houses, well, especially the HDB flats, they benefit from growth, and their nest egg will grow, so when they have a retirement pension, it's worth something. And as the country grows, their nest egg becomes a little bit bigger. But as far as public housing is concerned, we will keep the public HDB flats affordable for Singaporeans. I make this argument. It's not so easy to follow, but it's a very interesting one. HDB is building new flats, right? Next year, 22,000 flats. Whom are we building them for? Singaporeans. Who is eligible to buy those flats? Singaporeans. If every Singaporean says he can't afford to buy an HDB flat, who is going to be buying those HDB flats? It can't be. The flats will all be empty. So we are pricing the flats so that Singaporeans can buy them, will buy them, in fact, are buying them. And many are queuing up now because they are a bit worried, if I don't get this flat, what will happen? I think if your girlfriend asks you that, tell her, don't worry, if we don't get this BTO flat, next one we get two tickets, our chances go up. Next one, after that, I think you get 4 tickets, our chances go up even more. And if still not successful, I'll bring you to see my MP, and he'll try his best to solve our problem. And I think that we can do. But if you want a flat, that block, that floor, next to your in-laws or next to your parents, or you must be in Pinnacle or else, then I'm sorry, it's or else. But or else is not bad because there are many other choices. Because we are building Duxton, we are building in Toa Payoh, we have the Peak, we have many other programs, Sengkang, Punggol North. Houses will be affordable, are affordable, and everybody will have a good home. But apart from looking at prices and looking at immigrants, I think another thing which makes people uncertain about growth is that things are changing too fast, that there's a sense of disorientation. Yesterday, things were like this. Today, the landmarks have changed. The policies may have changed. New rules, new systems. People cannot catch up. And I can understand this sentiment because you want to have some fixed points that you remember where the Cathay Cinema was, you remember where the Kopitiam was, you remember where you grew up, the trees, the neighborhoods, and the way the society was. So we will keep these landmarks and we will try and strengthen our sense of what Singapore is so that it doesn't become completely unrecognizable to Singaporeans. And at the same time, we will help Singaporeans to adjust to changes. So when we have to make changes, we will hold hands, hand-holding, explain, reassure, help people to make the transition. So when there are new rules, whether it's a change to the bus fare system, whether it's a change to the ERP system, or HDB rules, or school rules, we will hold hands and help people to adjust and adapt. Because we have to adapt. And if you say, we will change, we will not change, we will stop. Let the world go on. I think we'll be left behind, and that will be bad for us. So let's keep the picture straight, keep the right perspective. We are doing well. There are some problems. They are real, but they are the problems of success, as Khaw Boon Wan says. We can deal with them because we are successful, we have the resources. And it's far better to deal with the problems of success than to have to cope with the problems of failure. If you were stuck with unemployment, with loss of confidence, with national debt, with investments going away, and Singapore in upheaval, and demonstrations in the streets, as you are seeing in very stable countries in Europe, I think we would be in a completely different situation. Let's go for success and deal with the problems. That's the way.